He's like, man, I want you to hear this kid real quick, and let me know what you think. So he takes out this CD, and it's this dude by the name of Nipsey Hussle.
Oh shit!
And it's a song called "Bullets Ain't Got No Names." And this was Nipsey's first record that went like hood viral, kind of like mine at the time. And he was like, yo, so he plays this shit, and I'm like, yo, that shit's hard. I was like, where's he from? He's like, oh, he's from like 60s or whatever the case. I don't know, though, right? And he was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna sign him to a management deal. And I was like, dope, fuck yeah. So then I get signed to Steve LaBelle. Snipsey gets signed. Crazy. So me and him got signed like literally virtually the same time, at the same time.
So focused on what I got going on, you know. I ain't got no time, baby. I ain't never had a silver spoon. Granny house on the couch in the living room. If you living with
Welcome to another episode of the Forever Up podcast. I'm your host J9. Today's special guest, Concrete.
Yo.
Episode number 4. Vamos a hablar de
Forever Up.
Duro, macizo y tupido, compa. Let's get it going, bro. First off, thank you for coming. Welcome. And big fan, bro.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you having me, man. Gracias, carnal.
¿De dónde vienes?
Del estudio, güey. Venimos del estudio. Okay. We went to go, I was there in the morning just kind of doing some administration, just replying to emails and, you know, stuff that I've kind of missed over the weekend. And, you know, before I came here, I was like, man, I just got to get some work in. You know, venimos de volada.
A lot of people don't know that it takes a lot of work sometimes early in the morning to do what you do, no?
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, like, dude, I have like a schedule, like in the morning, like, you know, I don't have a job, but I have a schedule.
Simon.
You know what I'm saying? So I usually just wake up at, 6, 7 or whatever, whenever God permits, and then I wake up, you know, check in with the wifey real quick, see how she's doing, you know what I'm saying? Check in with the wifey, you know what I'm saying? Check in with the boys, see how they're doing. I got 3 boys, you know, shout out to my, out to my boys, you know, Kai, Caleb, and Christian. And then around 7:30, man, I'm out the house and I take my drive, stop at 7-Eleven for my coffee. Un cafecito, and then I get to the studio, and then it's you know, from there it's working, you know, just work, man.
That's what's up, man. Well, you've been working really hard, and you've reached a lot of far places, but let's go a little bit to the beginning, man. Mm-hmm. Where did you grow up? Where'd you come from? ¿Dónde es tu familia?
My parents are from Tepic, Nayarit.
Okay.
My dad's from un ranchito, San Leonel, and my mom grew up in Compostela.
Okay.
And so they came out here in 82? They came out here in 82. Had my sister Michelle. Mm-hmm. My mom was actually pregnant when she was crossing the border. So they had her in 82. I was here in 85. And then my little sister, she was born in 95. I grew up all around the valley. Right. Mostly in the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
I grew up on Blythe Street when I was a baby. Then I went to I was in Panama City, and then but for the most part of my, you know, adolescent teenagers, I was in San Fernando, Arleta area, yeah.
Okay. So tu familia es de la costa, no?
De la costa, yeah.
That's cool,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, man.
And that's crazy. Tu mamá, she was pregnant crossing the border with your little sister.
Yeah, my mom was pregnant crossing the border. The first time they tried it, like, it just didn't happen. Like, you know, fucking coyotes kind of took their money, and I think I remember my mom was telling me the story, my dad was telling me the story that against, like, some dude died, like, on the way there. Like, he just didn't make it. He was like an older gentleman. And then the second time they tried it, you know, they came through literally through like the coast, the beaches, like they were like walking and kind of like for a really long time.
Did they hit that little wall right there that divides, or what?
Nah, dude, they hit the beach.
Okay.
So they hit the beach, and my dad was like, you know, they were tired by this time. My mom was tired, and he was like, I saw this plane. They saw like a plane, like a helicopter plane, right? And it got closer and closer, and they were like, yo, I think we're getting close to the city.
Right.
I think we're getting close to the city.
Ya van viendo.
So they just kept walking, and they kept seeing the plane, or like, you know, like some kind of little aircraft, you know, and they get closer, and it's a toy aircraft, dog. And when they get to the toy aircraft, they're seeing it, and there's a dude in the back of his beach house playing with it. Así. And they actually helped my parents.
Oh, wow, that's
get
dope.
Inside, and then they were able to call my tia from there, and then that's where they got picked up, man. And that's where we're here, man.
That is an amazing story.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
Coming from a Latino background and a Mexican background, do your parents remind you of that all the time, or is it something that they don't, like, kind of not throw in your face or nothing, pero?
Nah, you know what, like my parents have never said, they've never told me, like, aquí venimos para trabajar. Like, they never really told me anything about, like, you know, this is the reason why you should do it. I think it goes without saying, carnal, you know?
Yeah.
Échale ganas, güey. My dad was always échale ganas. He never said it, oh, because we crossed the border, or because it was just more like échale ganas. I think to my parents, it was more like this, you know, whether you're here or you're in Mexico, or those saludos estés, échale ganas, güey. You know, just you know, just work, you know?
Right.
But I did ask my parents, I was like, yo, what's the story?
Yeah.
And when they told me that, I was like, oh shit, you know, and you know, you kind of put things into perspective and how lucky we are to, you know, to live here, you know what I'm saying, and to, you know, to have the opportunities we have living in the States, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. You hear of a lot of different stories. People crossing the desert. It's difficult. Some guy que conocemos working on our home or whatever, and his brother passed out in the desert while they were crossing. You know, he's the only one that made it. And you hear these stories and you're just like, damn, so inspirational, man, you know, because they get here, les hace echando ganas, and they make something of themselves, you know.
Yeah,
now the guy I was talking to, like, it's his company.
Yeah.
And he's the
I mean, I think anybody that's willing to walk into the unknown, right? Like, I think about, like, when people, or like when I hear people say, oh, there's no jobs, or no, I can't do nothing, or I'm, you know, I'm being held back by the man, or it's like, dog, like, I don't know. Look, dog, when people cross the border or they come here illegally or whatever the case, like, think about it like this. Let me tell you this. I'll put it in perspective. If I tell you right now, you got to leave this country, go to a country you don't know the language in, y averíguatelas, güey. What are you going to say? You're like, no. Why the fuck would I do that?
¿Pa qué, güey?
¿Pa qué, güey? So imagine, you know, our parents coming into a country, they don't know the language, they don't know anything, and to come and make it, bro, I think that says a lot about our culture as Latinos, and I'm not saying just Mexicans, just the Latino culture in general, and the culture that essentially comes here for a better life, bro, you know?
Man, you got, and you're making something of that better life. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, brother.
You're doing something for them. You ended up in the San Fernando Valley, in the city of San Fernando.
City of San Fernando, yep.
And growing up in San Fernando, like, I'm imagining, because like the 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on.
Everything.
I grew up in South Central LA during the 90s. Un pinche pedo, güey. Imagino que también en San Fernando.
Sí,
you
güey.
know, how did you manage to navigate through everything that's happening in the 90s to kind of get to where you're at now?
I was infatuated with the gang lifestyle.
Okay.
You know, like
a gangster, like
early on, like even when I was like 7 years old, growing up in San Fernando, bro, like I wanted to do comedy, like, and you know, my dad would tell you this, like I used to grab his little big ass Panasonic camcorder, and I would be like, hey, shoot this right here, and I would remake stuff that like Martin Lawrence did. Like, I don't know if you remember watching Martin, but he used to have this character, like this little kid with the little snotty nose and shit. So I used to do that character, and he used to take me, and I used to do karate, all kinds of shit, right? I always wanted to be in front of the camera, y hacer pedo, you know? And so I knew I wanted to do comedy, but I remember walking the streets in San Fernando as a kid, going to the store and shit and doing all this, and I remember just seeing the gangsters, and I was like, I want to be that.
Yo quiero ser cholón.
O sea, I was infatuated with the lifestyle, bro. Me gustaba los carros, las viejas, and fucking all the gangsters, and then watching the movies and watching Blood In and Blood Out. And I was too young to even watch American Me. I watched it. Like, no fucking reason for me to be watching that film, dog.
No,
you know?
For real, dog.
So I was really infatuated with it, dude. And I remember, you know, the first day I went to school at San Fernando Elementary.
Okay.
And at this point in the 90s, like, gangbanging was, like, if you weren't gangbanging, you weren't a part of the in crowd.
You weren't cool.
You weren't cool.
You weren't cool.
So I remember I got there and I see all the little homies and, you know, fucking 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, like, with big ass pants, high socks. And I remember I was like, all right, cool. All right. So I went home that day, and that morning I woke up and I started putting my dad's socks on, dog. And I put my dad's pants, and my mom was like, oh, no, cabrón. No way. Luckily for me, man, my Aunt Alicia, which is my dad's sister, lived in Granada Hills, which is like the next city over.
Okay, yeah.
And my mom was like, you know what? No, le voy a pedirla. I'm going to ask her for her address, and I'm going to switch you fucking schools because you're not going to gangbang.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I could relate to that. My moms did the same shit. She didn't want me to, like, go to none of these schools or whatever.
Yeah, she didn't want me to gangbang. And I think that, like, honestly, dude, I think that saved my life. I think my mom and my parents making the decision and saying, you know what? Te vamos a cambiar, güey, porque one day in, fool, y ya, güey, eres cholo.
Ya eres cholo, ya te crees, güey.
So, yes, you know, and to me, it was always like I wanted to, you know, and I think this comes from being an artist and being like a comedian and being an entertainer. Like, you want to please people. You want to be able to make people laugh. And you know, you want to do things right, and I think that's where that stems from. I wanted to people please. I wanted to be like, yeah, oh yeah, he's hard. I'm gonna be harder, fool. If he's gonna go out there and, you know, do this shit, I'm gonna go 10 times harder than. And I think that mentality for me was what could have possibly been detrimental to me as, you know, growing up as a kid, you know. So and then I just ended up getting into sports heavy, dude. You know, I played a lot of basketball. I played a lot of basketball growing up. I was in traveling teams. I played against against Lakers. I played against, you know, Jordan Farmar. I played against Swaggy P.
The ex-Laker.
Yeah. I played against all these guys because all these guys played in traveling teams when I was in traveling teams. So I used to see all these guys play.
So you're competitive, man.
I played competitive sports a lot, bro. Like I wasn't just playing at school. I was doing traveling teams, going to, you know, like different tournaments in California, Arizona, Las Vegas.
Well, for a Mexican in basketball, that's hard. That shit ain't easy.
Yeah,
bro.
it was hard,
you
bro.
Been playing fucking soccer or baseball.
I wasn't good at soccer.
Oh, nunca te tocó.
No, es que, I love soccer. I love watching it, but it wasn't like I didn't touch the ball enough.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have the ball. Like I wanted to create the play. I wanted to do, and basketball helped me create the play. And like, you know, like, dude, honestly, if it wasn't for me getting into music early, I probably would have did like D2, D3 college or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was that good in basketball, and you know, I just love the sport, and I would see the play before it even happened, or I would see certain things that the other team was doing, and I was like, and that's so I caught on to the game. I knew the game of basketball really well, you know?
Yo, that's sick.
So I stopped playing like in 10th, 11th grade, and then I got into music, and that's when it just kind of sports hit the fan. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, then I just started DJing really young.
How old were you?
I started DJing at 12. So I started partying when I was like 12, 13. I was started into like the rebel scene and the party scene and the party crew shit, you know? All that shit, bro. Like I grew up on that, you know? Yeah. So I used to work for this dude named Ray Sonora. In Pacoima. He used to have like this party rental store, and he had a bunch of DJ systems, and on the weekends he would send out a bunch of dudes to go and DJ all the parties that he would book.
Okay.
Right? So he didn't let me DJ. I was only 12 years old, right? So he would be like, yo, every Saturday and Sunday I need you to come in. I need you to fix all the records and fix all the CDs. Make sure that each case has a CD in there, like cumbia, el merengue, rock en español. Make sure that all these guys have their cases ready, so when they come in on Saturday afternoon to pick up their shit, they have what they need. I said, all right, cool. So I learned all the music, bro.
Oh shit, that's a beautiful.
I learned all the music, man. Right? So there was this one specific time that, you know, it was, you know, like a Saturday or whatever the case may be, and Ray was like, fuck, man. And I was like, ¿Qué onda, Ray? He's like, nah, pues un güey me canceló y que la chingada y que no tengo otro DJ y no sé qué hacer y que... And I was like, yo voy, güey. He was like, no, ¿cómo estás pendejo? And I was like, Ray, yo voy, güey. Mándame a mí, güey. He was like, ¿Tú vas? Le dije, yo voy, güey. Yo conozco la música, güey. Pero tienes 13 años, like you're 12, 13. I was like, que te valga verga, güey. Tú mándame, güey. You know? So I called my dad and I was like, pa, quieren que vaya de DJ. Y my dad, ¿tú qué sabes de DJ? ¿Tú qué sabes? And I was like, pa, I know, yo sé. Papá, créeme que yo sé. ¿Tú qué sabes? ¿A qué horas? No, pues que a las 4. No, pa, tráete la troca porque me tengo que llevar las bocinas y todo el pedo.
You put your dad to work, fool.
So my dad pulls up in the little troquita and shit, and here we are, dog. I'm grabbing the speakers, I grab lights, I grab my CDs, I grab my smoke machine, todo el pedo, y vamos, güey, es un pinche bautizo, güey.
Oh, man, vas a tirar bolo and shit.
And think about it, fool, like, my dad's helping me get this shit down, right?
Right.
And I remember the dude kept asking my dad, oh, no, pues mucho gusto en conocerlo y lo que ocupe, y que la chingada. My dad's like, no, pues yo no soy del pedo, güey, es él. And the dude was like, he started speaking, he's like, you're gonna DJ? And I was like, yeah. He's like, bro, how old are you? And I was like, I'm like 12, dog. He's like, you're gonna DJ? Oh, hell no, fool. I paid fucking $200 y que la chingada. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm DJing, bro. I was like, I'm the one that's here. I'm playing all the fucking cuts. Escándalo. You know? Un pinche cumbiazo, pinche banda mexicano, banda machos. I'm killing it, dog. And the people are like, whoa, that was 12, dog.
Shit.
You know?
I even ran it. And shit,
yeah, fool, and I'm so young, fool. When they hit the bolo, I was in there too, fool. I was like,
blending with the kids and shit.
I was blending in, dog, you know? And then after that, it's just, you know, when Ray came that night to pick up the gear, the dude was like, "Hey man, he did amazing." And then sure enough, dog, he started sending me out to gigs.
Wow.
And then, so I was doing that shit for like 2-3 years. And when I was 16, this is when I started getting more into the party scene at this point, because before
like
I was
parties and stuff.
Yeah, flyer parties.
Oh, okay.
So then I started DJing, and then I got my first club, the Tequila Room in Simi Valley. I was 16. I was running my own club at 16.
Damn, that's very young. Most of them are like 18 or older.
It was a 21 and over bar / turned into a club at night, and I was running the shit. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. And then it was around 16 there. That's when I was like, I was starting to get bored of DJing, bro. Like I get creatively bored fast.
Okay.
So I remember I was DJing at 16, and then around that same time, me, my cousin Peps, my boy Oscar, Tech One, and my boy Steve, just as kids do, like we started fucking around and rapping and shit, freestyling and la chingada. And I remember I was like, they were like, man, we need beats. And I was like, yeah, we do need beats. And I was like, well, fuck it, dog. Yeah, you're right. I'm a producer now, dog, And I begged my dad, bro. So then I got a job at Can-Am Studios when I was 16 years old. And if so the people that don't know, Can-Am Studios is where Tupac recorded a lot of his, like the records that he did with Death Row.
Right, the early stuff.
So it was like All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli. All that was recorded at Can-Am Studios. A lot of it was recorded at Can-Am Studios. So when I had Tupac died in 96, to me it was like I would read the credits like Can-Am Studios. Oh, it's in the Valley. What the fuck? So I remember when I was 16, I went over there and I was like, hey man, I want a job, and they were like, what? Like you go to school? And I was like, yeah, but I'll ditch. So yeah, bro.
Yeah, but I'll ditch, so don't even trip.
So my boy Big Lyric introduced me to this guy named Chuck Heat, and Chuck Heat is Bob Dylan's stepson.
Bob Dylan, wow.
Right? So I used to get to school at 8, and then by 8:30 I was already on the bus going from San Fernando all the way to like Woodland Hills.
So were you walking to school? Or were you being dropped off by your dad?
My dad was dropping me off. So my dad would like take off. I would wait. I'd be like, I'm just gonna talk to the homies right here, and then I'll fucking say late to the homies, hey, where you going? If I'm going to the studio, and they were like, to the studio, like they didn't get it. They didn't really get it yet. And I would take the bus all the way to Woodland Hills, and I would go to this dude named Chuck Heat's house, and he had this thing called the MPC.
Yeah, it's like a little beat machine.
It was a beat machine. It kind of looks, similar to that, to the Roadcaster. So he would have me like fix all his shit and, just kind of, chill right there. And I would shadow him. And I remember I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I need this. In order for me to become a producer and make beats, I was like, I need this machine. Mames, güey, like it was $2,000 for
like entonces, fool,
$2,500. And my dad was like, you're fucking tripping. And I was like, no, pa. En el pinche Guitar Center lo tienen en paguitos.
Te dan crédito and shit.
And I was
your
like,
job
Dad,
is your credit.
And I was like, Dad, I'm gonna make beats and I'm gonna sell them. He's like, ya eres productor también, ya. And so he bought me that MPC.
Oh, man.
I started making beats in my room.
Did you take it out in pagos?
En paguitos, sí, güey. En paguitos, güey. En paguitos.
He loves you.
And at this point, fool, my dad already knows, like, okay, this fool wants to be in entertainment. So school to me was like obsolete at this point. Though. I'm 16, 17. I'm still like at this point, I'm doing like homeschooling and shit because they already knew, like, ya valiste verga, güey,
Oh, wow. No.
So my dad was like, as long as he's in the house working, doing something, I think this is what I'm going to have to do.
As long as
right?
you're being productive.
As long as I'm being productive. So I'm doing the beats in my house, and then it got to the point where my dad was like, yo, like, you're bumping music up until 11 or 2, I was like, fuck that. He's like, vete al garage. So then I take all my gear to the garage, and then my tío Pedro, he was out here, and he built me like a little studio inside the garage. And that's where the music career essentially started. Like, as far as music goes, at this point, I'm like 16, 17, and I remember telling my boys, I was like, hey, bro, and watch, we're gonna have a song on the radio one day, and like we're kids, we're teens, they're like, yeah, fool, whatever, dog, okay, okay, no mames, güey. So I was producing beats for a lot of dudes in the hood, and like just dudes that knew that I had a studio, because at the time it wasn't easy to just get into a studio.
No, back in the day it was really hard. You didn't have platforms and
this is 2001, 2002, so people were like, they were like, studio, like, you have a studio? I was like, yeah, fool, I can record. I have a laptop that my boy JQ gave me. Shout out to JQ. He gave me a laptop. And then my other boy, I think it was Lyric. Because again, I'm a kid, bro. I don't have money, but so he gave me this thing called Cubase at the time.
Okay.
It was a recording software called Cubase. So at this point, I have a full-blown recording studio at my fucking house.
Y todo casi gratis, güey, porque man, that's dope.
Yeah, like everybody
that's
was
love,
just
bro.
like everybody was just kind of showing me love,
That's
you know.
love.
So then I have this, you know, like I'm making beats, and you know, I started recording with my boys, my boy, you know, my cousin P, my boy Tech, and then my boy Steve. So we're doing little songs de la chingada. And I didn't want to rap. I wanted to be like at the time Dr. Dre and
just make the beats,
you know,
and
I just
shit.
wanted to make. I was like, I want to be the producer. I don't want to be the one rapping. And it was like they weren't cutting it.
O sea, valieron madre and shit.
like,
So sucked.
like and really what it was is like, you know, like the dedication aspect of it. You know, because I was in there every single day, dog. Like I would wake up at 8 a.m, go to sleep at 4 o'clock, and be in there in 4 hours again.
I mean, you're putting in the work, bro.
I was putting in the work,
Hell
you know.
yeah.
So I remember I started rapping. I started doing my thing, and it wasn't until that was what 2000. I was like, I want to say like 2003, 4, 5, and all that. And it wasn't until like 2007. I was like 20 years old when I had my first record on the radio. I had a record go hood viral. Right at the time,
Well, so
hood viral.
what kind of music was it at the time?
I was doing hood rap, like,
Like
you know,
hood rap?
yeah,
Like ratchet shit?
yeah, no, like hood rap, like
fucking
gangster
barrio
shit, yeah. So I was rapping to the gangsters at the time, and I had this song called Industry Beefs,
Industry beefs, okay.
and it was about, you know, at the time it was like 50 and 50 and Game were going at it,
Yeah.
and then so I brought up like the old beef between Tupac and Biggie, and each verse was kind of like my homage to those beefs. I was like, yo, fuck all this beef. And, you know, it was just called Industry Beef. So it caught the attention of Sean and Lewis and Steve LaBelle. And
Right.
Steve LaBelle used to manage, at the time, he was managing Bone Thugs and Harmony, Mariah Carey, a bunch of other people.
Right.
So it caught his attention. And I'm like, what, 20 years old? And they were like, yo, man, like, he wants to meet you. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, Steve LaBelle's, I don't know who the fuck Steve LaBelle is,
So
dog.
for those of you that don't know, like Steve LaBelle's a major deal in like
In the music industry,
Just
yeah.
amazing. This is the guy you want to talk to.
And so I go to Steve's house, and I walk in, and I'm seeing plaques, dog, Run DMC plaques, and Bone Thugs and Harmony, Mariah Carey, all these huge fucking artists, bro. And I'm like, this is really happening, bro. Like, I can't believe
Aquí estoy, like,
Aquí estoy.
this is fucking crazy.
And he's like, do you have a manager? And I was like, nah, dude, I just make music right now at this point, and I'm just kind of passing it out and, you know, selling CDs. And I used to travel and just sell my shit, right? And he's like, all right, cool. He's like, I like your record. It's called Industry Beefs, man. He's like, you gangbang? And I was like, I'm from San Fernando. He was like, oh, okay, cool. He was like, I have another rapper that I want to sign to a management deal, you know? I was like, look, man, I'm not on the banging shit. I was like, so you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Cause he was like, I don't want you to have, I was like, nah, man, you do, you know, I don't like, I'm not banging, bro. So we're good, right? He's like, man, I want you to hear this kid real quick, and let me know what you think. So he takes out this CD, and it's this dude by the name of Nipsey Hussle.
Oh shit.
And it's a song called Bullets Ain't Got No Names. And this was Nipsey's first record that went like hood viral, kind of like
Right.
mine at the time. And he was like, yo, so he plays this shit, and I'm like, yo, that shit's hard. I was like, where's he from? He's like, oh, he's from like 60s or whatever the case, I don't know, though, right? And he was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna sign him to a management deal. And I was like, dope, fuck yeah. So then I get signed to Steve LaBelle, Snipsey
no,
gets signed.
that's
So
crazy.
me and him got signed like literally virtually the same time, at the same time,
Yo,
by
that's
Steve LaBelle.
insane, man.
You know, and we're both the same age. You know, me and Nipsey at the time, we were the same age. We were both, we're both 85 kids. So I met him a couple times. We talked, but it was more like I would go and support him to his shows. And at the time, this is when like his hood was showing up to his shows. He wasn't Nipsey yet.
Yeah. Era
You know what I'm saying?
gente de barrio.
It was just the people from his hood. So I started doing my thing, and then I did a record with Kush and Kato called Certified Kush.
Okay.
And then that record was the one that hit the radio for me here.
In LA.
The first person that ever, or the first station that ever played my music was Power 106.
Power 106.
And it was at the New At 2 with DJ Felly Fell.
Oh, that's when he was back in the man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it was the New At 2 with Felly
Fell.
Fell. And I remember I went and I'm sitting at, like, I'm sitting at my boy's house, on my boy Sean,
Shit,
you know,
man.
Sean and Lou, and they were like, "Hey, dog, turn on the radio right now." And I was like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, we'll turn on the radio," and it's like fucking 1:59, and I'm like, "You had two?" He's like, "Just listen, fool." And you know, DJ Felly Fel, we got this new joint. A1A kid, Beretta was certified. Come on, what the fuck? And you know, it was
lost your shit.
Oh, dog, you know, because at the time to
yeah.
have a song on the radio.
Bro, he called you, dog. He didn't text you. He fucking called you.
It was like, it was like, yo, what the fuck?
Fuck, man, yeah.
You know? So that was, and then from there, it just kind of like wildfire. I started doing shows everywhere. I started doing shows at the Knitting Factory. I started doing shows at House of Blues. I started doing Qualcomm Stadium. I started doing a bunch of shows, bro, right? And then I had my partner at the time, which was my boy Roy. He was, you know, like my best friend, my day-to-day manager kind of dude. He passed away in 2008.
I'm sorry to hear that.
You know, he passed away in 2008, and I was kind of like done with the music industry at that point. When he passed away, I had a record that I had done called "We Can Make It Rain," and it was featuring my boy Charlie. And that was my second radio record that got a bunch of airplay. It did 65 stations across the country. It did pretty well for me. But by that point, I had no interest in the music industry no more. I was kind of done with it.
You weren't motivated.
I wasn't motivated anymore. I was like, man, I'm done. You know, I was just kind of out of it. You know.
So how do you get back into it though?
So in 2008, when my boy passed away, you gotta think about it, the songs on the radio, bro.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. People are calling me to do shows. I'm just like, I don't want to do it. I did a couple shows here and there, but it was just weird to me. I just, you know, I didn't want to be a part of it. The drugs and all this shit that came with it, and you know, I was done. And then so I took like a year. I took a year off of music. I met my wife in 2009. And then me and her did a record called Juicy. We did the remix of Juicy, right? So we did that record. That was one of the last records I did, actually. And that one did pretty well too, like in the city. Like people knew about the record, you know? In 2008, I didn't want to do music no more. I was trying to figure something out. I got a gang of jobs, dog. I did AAA towing. I worked at Ross.
Dang.
I worked at Macy's.
In La Ross.
Yeah, for like I did all kinds of jobs, dog. And then I got a job.
You had the Choni hookup though.
Yeah, dude. And then I ended up working for the competitor. I ended up working for Fallas Paredes and Factory to You.
Oh shit! I used to get my uniforms at Fallas Paredes.
Everybody did. So I lied. I went to one of these like find a job places, right? And I lied about they were like, well, what are you doing? I clicked everything, marketing, fucking accounting. I clicked everything. I was like, I know how to do it all. So I got this opening position for accounting at Fallas Paredes.
Oh shit.
So here I am, bro. I have no fucking knowledge, bro, about marketing or numbers or money. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? But I get there with my little tie burrito. I'm chilling, and they bring the stack of papers, and I'm basically just whatever's left over on a payment. It was like 3 cents. I would accumulate all that and then send out invoices for them to pay the 50 cents, bro. Right. So I was miserable, dog, doing that shit. I did my job, but I was fucking miserable. And
what year is this?
This is 2010, bro.
2010.
It's 2010.
Ya estás enfadado.
Enfadísimo, güey. I hate my job, bro. And they know I hate my job. I don't talk to anybody. I just go in there, I do my job, and I fucking leave. So the Italian dude, the owner of it, he came in one day. He was like, hey, let me talk to you for a second. He was like, hey, man, I heard you do music. And I was like, yeah, I do music. I was like, I did do music. I don't do it no more. And he was like, yeah, man. You know, he's like, look, man, you do your job and all that, and it's all good. He's like, but you're bringing the morale down here, bro.
O sea, ponte pilas, güey.
Ponte las pilas, güey. He's like, I want people in here that are gonna be happy to come in. And I was like, all right, fine. I'll change it. I'll throw on a smile, bro. And he was like, no, this is what we're gonna do. He's like, I'm gonna give you your last check.
Oh, she's like, this is, oh,
He's
man.
like, here's your last check. He's like, go do what you want to do. He's like, I don't want you here. He's like, go be creative. Go do what you want to do.
Do you, man.
He's like, do you.
Hell yeah.
And I remember I looked at the fucking check. I was like, $800, bro. I was like, what the fuck? And I go home and I was like, babe, check it out. They did me a favor today. Cool. Yeah, because that's what he said. He's like, I'm going to do you a favor.
I'm going to do you.
That's what he says. I'm going to do you a favor. And so I went home and I was like, babe, they did me a favor today.
No,
She's like, what's going on? I was like, I got fired. She's like, what? You got fired from the job? I was like, yeah, they gave me the last check. And at this point, like in my head, I was like, you know what, dude? I want to start doing like music. I want to start doing like documentaries. I wanted to get into the film side of shit, right?
Right.
So I told my girl, I was like, look, we're going to take this check y vamos a ir a la Curazao. And we're going to buy a camera.
Like, you see dan crédito, dog.
Ahí sí dan crédito, you know?
Yeah, for Curazao, hell yeah.
So I took the $800, bro, and I bought like a $1,200 camera, a little HD camera. And at this point, I already knew a bunch of rappers, you know what I'm saying, just because of being in the industry. So I started hitting up rappers. I was like, yo, man, let me do a little like documentary / kind of like a day in the life. And
Right.
And then so I started doing those. And then I was like, you know what, fuck it, I want to start doing music videos. So then I told my boy at the time, S.A. Dash from Spanish Fly, I was like, hey, fool, do you want a video? He was like, well, what? I was like, do you want a music video? He was like, you shoot music videos? I was like, yeah, fool, I got an HD camera, fool, 720p, dog. Se ve bien, güey.
Se mira todo, güey.
I was like, se mira todo, fool, 720, fool. And he was like, I was like, fool, it's going to look dope. So I ended up shooting a music video for him, and he liked it. He was like, yo, this is dope. And I was like, all right, cool. So he's like, hey, fool, let's shoot another one. And at this point, I'm doing it for free, dog.
Yeah.
But I told him, I was like, hey, fool, do me a bottle, fool. I was like, look, dog, I saw this lens on Amazon, fool. I was like, if you buy this lens for me, it's $400. If you buy this lens, fool, I'll shoot your music videos for free forever, fool. Or at least for cheap.
Forever, dog.
Forever, fool. Así le dije, güey.
Fuck, that's the most fucking Mexican shit forever, dog.
I was like, fool, I'll shoot it forever, dog. And he's still cashing in until this day, let me tell you.
Hey, I need that music video, fool.
S.A. Daz is still cashing in on that favor, dog. I'm not gonna lie.
You
fool.
made a lot of relationships.
I still shoot videos for him for dirt cheap, fool, just because he did me that solid 10 years ago.
And that's some real friendship shit right there, man. That's the kind of relationships you fucking need.
That lens right there, dog, took me around the world.
Fuck, that's fucking beautiful. Dog.
I went from shooting music videos for free to $100 to $200 to $500 to $1,000 to getting budgets of $50,000, $100,000. You know what I'm saying? That lens right there, fool. That bottle that the homie did, I was like, fool, just do it for me, dog. And he was like, all right, fool, I'll order it. He ordered it. I was right there. I was like, click send, click shipping, fool. Click the shipping, dog. 2 day, fool. 2 day free shipping, perro. And that lens right there, fool, changed the game for me.
That's awesome.
That lens changed the game. And then in 2015, I'm giving you the whole breakdown. I don't know if you want me to keep going.
Yeah, fool, dale, güey.
So then in 2015, I was gonna shoot this music video for this dude named Black Chill. And if you don't know Black Chill, you know the song. He sang a song called "It's Like Romeo and Juliet, Hot Sex on the Plane." Yeah, there you go. So you know the record.
You was about to get.
Yeah. So he hits me up and he's like, "Yo, I want to do a video with you." And I'm like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Fool." At this point, I'm still doing I'm doing $400 or $500, $600 music videos.
Right.
I'm not doing big shit yet, right? So he's like, meet me at fucking TGI Fridays. And I was like, oh, la verga, güey. I was like, I'm going to TGI Fridays. I had never been there before, fool. I had never been there, fool. And I had never been to like TGI Fridays, any of that shit. I thought TGI Fridays was expensive,
like,
dog.
you saw commercials for that shit, you were just like, wow.
Yeah, I was like, no, está muy lejos. So, you know? Like, you know what I'm saying?
¿Qué comida, güey?
Yeah, I was like, to me, TGI Fridays was crazy, fool. So he comes and he's like, hey, bro, I want you to shoot a music video. He's like, I have a $10,000 budget. And I remember, I was like, fuck, dog. Like, in my head, I was like, am I getting into something I don't know what the fuck I'm doing? And he was like, do you have a crew? And I was like, see, güey? I was like, yeah, fool, I have a crew, fool. I have like a bunch of homies, dog. Yeah. And he was like, okay, cool. So what do you need? He's like, do you need a producer? Do you need a first AD? And I was like, yeah, fool, of course, dog. I need him. So then he teams me up with this dude named Anthony Cook.
Biting enough more than you can chew, dog.
Way more, dog, right? Bro. So we get to the set, fool. I remember he was like, I want to shoot it at this, it's called, I think it's called like LA Sets. And it's like this big old studio in LA. And they have like big time movie sets, bro.
Right.
And this is my first time stepping into anything like this, bro. I'm used to just shooting in front of the homie's crib, like stealing shots. Yeah. Oh, sick ass wall. Oh, sick ass drawing right here, fool. Sick ass mural, you know? And then so I'm used to doing this shit. I don't know about any sets. And he wants to do this elaborate ass fucking bank robbery music video. And I was like, all right, fuck it, right? So he gets the location.
Wow.
And I'm shooting on this set, bro. And I get there fucking early, dog, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I got my little coffee. And my boy Anthony Cook, which was the first AD, the first assistant director, he's helping the crew get the gear down. And I have a full-on crew, dog. Big-ass trucks and shit with all the gear, todo el pedo, güey.
Oh, shit.
Y yo, qué pedo, yo no sabía ni qué pedo, güey. You know? I didn't know what the fuck, right? So they were like, all right, fool, all right, man, the first scene, we're going to shoot it here. And I was like, cool, let's do it. And they're like, so what do you want? I was like, what do you mean, what do I want? And everybody, fool, all the white boys, right? It was a bunch of white boys on the crew, right? And all these dudes are just, you know, they're all educated, film school, la chingada, and they're like, yeah, so what do you want us to do, bro? I was like, let's get a light right here. Let's get another light. And like, yeah, but what do you want? Do you want Fresnel? Do you want daylight tungsten? Do you want it on a C-stand, a combo stand? What do you want? And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Fuck it, dog. I was like, yeah, dog, just, yeah, it sounds good. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Yeah, man, do you want a dimmer? Yeah, let's go dimmer, man. Yeah, let's hit him with the dimmer. Hit him with the dimmer. Yeah, do you want a dolly shot? Let's dolly it up.
All the dollars you can get.
Let's dolly it up, set it up. You know, I didn't know what the fuck. I just knew what I wanted to see, bro. I knew exactly what I wanted.
You envisioned it.
I knew what I wanted to see on the screen. Mm-hmm. That I did know. I knew that you weren't acting good, so I would switch you if you weren't acting good. I would coach you, be like, nah, dude, do this instead. So I knew what I wanted to get out of people, and I knew how I wanted this shit to look on the screen. So I was just watching the screen, and I would be telling people, hey, you know, add this here, put this light here, that chingada, you know? And then, so that boy Anthony Cook pulls me to the side, and he's like, hey, bro, he's like, you didn't go to film school? And I was like, nah. He's like, all right, hey, I'm going to help you out. I'll come and talk to you, and then I'll go and communicate that to the team because they only understand film lingo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, only terminology that
they use, bro. So I didn't know about C-47s. And if you don't, like, if you're not in film,
like a bomb, dog.
Exactly, right. You know what a C-47 is? A C-47 is a clothespin. It's just to hang clothespins. So I didn't know. They were like, past C-47s, and I was like, C-47s. And I'm looking for the C-47s, and they're like clothespins. I was like, oh shit, there it is, you know.
Flashbacks of your dad asking you to look for shit.
I didn't know what the fuck, right, dog? Phillips, I don't know what the fuck. Where's Phillip? You know,
that's the way kid is.
You know what I'm saying? So he was like, so he pulled me to the side, and he was really cool about it. He was like, hey, bro, like, cool, look, man. You tell me what you want, tell me the colors or whatever, and then I'll communicate it to the guys. So we ended up doing the music video. You know, like, it came out dope. Shit looked fucking amazing.
That's cool.
I edited the joint too at the time, and that boy Anthony Cook calls me. He's like, hey, bro, he's like, the video came out amazing, man. Like, you did a really good job on it, man. Like, congratulations, dude, for not being in film school. That's dope. He's like, but I think you would be better. Like, I think you have it, but I think if you knew film and you knew everything about it, I think you'd just be unstoppable. And I said, no, well, thank you, man, but I really can't afford $100,000 film school tuition, dog. I can't. He's like, I'm gonna do something better for you. He said, look, man, you want to get a job at the New York Film Academy? I said, what?
Yeah.
He's like, do you want a job at the New York Film Academy? He's like, I can get you in as a TA. I was like, as a TA? He's like, yeah, bro, look, you know enough to get in there and be a TA.
Wow.
So he's like, look, man, study this test. They're gonna give you a test, and you'll get a job, and it starts off with $16 an hour, and I was like, fuck yeah.
Back then, hell yeah.
I was like, let's go, bro. This is 2014, 2013, and so I started working there, dude. And my first instructor was Armstrong. He shot all the Saw movies.
Okay.
And then yeah, he ended up getting like a couple movies, so he ended up leaving to go shoot those movies. So it took him like 6-7 months to come back. During that time, there was a teacher and a professor by the name of Anthony B. Richmond, this old British dude in the 70s. I think he's still alive. I haven't checked on him, and I feel bad for that. But so shout out to Anthony B. Richmond. So nobody wanted to be his TA, dog, because he was kind of like an old grumpy dude.
He had his set ways. He had his set ways,
So nobody really wanted to like be a TA for him. And they were like, hey, man, look, it's either you sit in the fucking storage room or you go work with Anthony B. Richmond. I was like, I don't want to carry sandbags all day. I was like, I'll go work with Anthony B. Richmond. You know what I'm saying? So I started off, bro, just, can I get you something? Yeah, go get me my coffee. What do you want? Black, 2 sugars. Okay, cool. Oh. Every day, just getting him his coffee. And it went from that to, hey, come sit next to me. It went from come sit next to me. So hey man, I'm going to the set today. You want to come with me? And went from that to like, hey, come over to the house so I can tell you about that question you had about, you know, like, because he shot The Sandlot.
Oh wow.
You know, he shot Men of Honor. He shot Just Friends. He shot music videos for the Rolling Stone. I mean, dog, he's done it.
Man, your film knowledge is amazing. You're the kind of guy I could probably sit here and just talk movie quotes with you all fucking day.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like this one for sure. You know which one this one's from. So I never shake his hand, Holmes. He don't respect nada.
Yeah, that's from Blood In, Blood Out. No, wait. He never respect nada. I fucking know it, dog. So I never shake American Me?
No, I'll give you a hint.
Wait.
Yeah, so I never shake Lonzo's hand. He don't
That's sorry, that's Training Day.
Sorry,
for some reason when you, I think it was, I got it. It is.
Dude, a bunch of shit. Like you play ball like a girl, all kinds of shit, brother.
Dog,
like, contigo se puede.
Sí, güey. Dude, I watched a lot of movies for a long time, you know? So I'm doing that. And then I quit school, man. And then from there, man, I just started traveling, bro. I traveled all around the world, bro. I've been South America, Europe, Canada.
And when you're traveling, you're shooting music videos.
I'm shooting music videos. I'm shooting music videos. I'm shooting, documentary pieces. I used to shoot for Hyper House, and then I used to shoot for Hyper House. I used to shoot for Rock Nation. I used to shoot for Tidal. So I did a bunch of that stuff, though. So I shot all that, and I was blessed enough to travel the world. I saw the world through a lens, bro. And in 2018. I was shooting a music video for Secan and Compton Menace. So I'm shooting a music video for Secan and Compton Menace, and at the end of the night, we had one more shot. We were gonna shoot it at Miracle Mile off of Fairfax and what is it, San Vicente or something like that, off of Fairfax, like right where Biggie got killed. Biggie got killed in the corner. Yeah. Right around the corner, there's these like it's called Miracle Mile, and it's like a bunch of lights. Mm-hmm. So we parked the truck, we go get the shot, 10, 15 minutes, we come back, they stole all my gear, $40,000 worth of gear, gone.
You
just like
think
that.
In that area either,
just
dog.
Like that. Just like that, bro.
Damn. They move fast out here in LA, dog.
This is 2018, bro. This is what, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it just devastated me, dog.
Fuck, sí, cómo no.
Devastated me. It was devastating. Nobody was calling me for music videos at this point. And me and my wife cried and shit. We're like, man, what are we gonna do? I just invested all this money in the last 10 years, all this gear gone like that.
And then to put all that shit back, it's gonna cost money. So of course you're gonna sit there and fucking cry, dog.
Fool, I remember I even put a video on Instagram, dog. And I had like 1,500 followers, like 1,000. It was just a bunch of friends and cousins and family, right? And I remember I posted a video and I even put it in black and white, fool, for dramatic effect. You know? I put it in black and white, and I was like, if anybody knows, fool, just snitch. Porfa. If anybody knows anything, dog. Hey, snitch, fool. It's not snitching, fool, if you love me, dog, you know? And sure enough, fool, nothing came up. And I'm sitting at my boy Ida from Pocos Pero Locos was letting me. It was kind of like we used to barter. So I used to do music. Ida hit the button. And Kool-Aid, shout outs to them, man. So we kind of had like a barter system. I would do really cheap videos for him, and he would let me be at this, he kind of gave me like a little office at studio.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there, bro, and I'm just watching, like scrolling through YouTube, and I was looking at these videos, and there was a video that popped up, and there was a video about a dude singing, like this black dude was singing in a New York subway, and he just sounded amazing. And I did a reaction video to that on Instagram.
Okay.
Right, I made it seem like if I was at the subway station with them. So I went to the subway here and shot myself, and I was like, wow, you're amazing, dog. And I edited the videos together because at this point I know how to edit, I know lighting, I know angles, I know everything I need to know about how to make myself look like if I'm really at a place. And I remember, dude, I got like 25 comments for him.
Oh, cálmate, 25 for
yeah, think about it.
No, yeah,
because I used to travel the world, bro. I was like 10 feet away from the Mona Lisa, and I got 2 comments, and it was my mom, like, oh, está bien chiquita. Like, fea. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, qué chido. You know? Andas en París. Oh, it was just my mom, my cousin, my sister, like, commenting. Nobody ever commented on my shit, you know? Ay, te sientes, you know? And I got 25 comments when people were like, yo, this is funny, dog. That's funny. And I was like, what the fuck?
What's going on here?
Being dragged out of a liquor store. She got caught stealing. And I'm looking at the liquor store, and I was like, that looks like it could be the gas station two buildings next to us. There was a gas station. And I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna make myself seem like if I'm inside the store, and you know I'm shooting myself like a POV of it. So I edited that shit, and I made it seem like I was in the store. You know, way that one got me like 100 comments, bro.
And that's when you started. That's cuando empezó, like the ball started fucking rolling for you to.
I went from being depressed.
Social media presence.
I went from being depressed to like I found something new. And keep in mind, I used to do this shit as a kid. I just, you know, like when you become a rapper, you have this certain persona about you that you got to carry. And I was always afraid to show my funny side to people that didn't know me. I was always like, nah, like I don't want to seem like he's a goofball. Like, oh, well, you know, like that's you know, like secretistas or like or whatever the case. So payaso way. So I was really never funny around people. Like my family and my close friends knew who I was. But they never saw that I was gonna be a comedian one day, you know? So I went from one skit to another, bro, to just bam, but 100 comments, 200 comments, and I'm just gaining followers a lo pendejo way, you know? And it just kind of went from there, dog. It went from that to George Lopez hitting me up to.
How consistent was that? Like that period? ¿Cuántos videos subías al día?
I was probably doing like 3 or 4 a week, and you got to think because I like all the stuff that I was always doing. I would prep for it. I would get costumes. I would do this. I would get locations. So I was really scouting, and I was really doing the job. You know,
for people that want to, you know, do something. Yeah. Preparation is what really.
Yeah, preparation was key. Like a lot of people think like, oh, this was just the must. Nah, dude. But like my videos, like when I edit them, food, like you know, like when I edit certain videos, like I just posted one that went viral too. Like it was me on a palm tree cutting it and shit, and the dude.
Oh, yeah, fucking waving back and forth and shit. Yeah.
So somebody has sent me that video like 6 months ago, bro.
I love the videos you do with your dad, which I wanted to ask you a question about. You know, coming from a Mexican family, ¿cómo le haces para que tu papá, you know, sea parte de tus videos y le eche ganas? I mean, papi, préstame para los rines, papá, llévame a trabajar contigo, no me das para el 6.
Yeah.
I mean, papi, it's hilarious, and your dad plays an amazing role in your videos, bro. ¿Cómo, how much of a connection do you have with your dad? And like, how do you get him to be in the videos coming from a Mexican family? Most people, they don't want to, pa' que chingados and shit.
Well, first of all, my dad is the funniest man I've ever met.
Awesome.
My dad is funny. My mom is funny. Like, I can see why they're together. Like, now that I'm older, I'm like, I see why you guys got together. You guys shoot the shit a lot. That's funny. Yeah. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? So, my dad's always been funny, dog. Ever since I can remember, he's always been funny, very sarcastic. You know, nunca se pasó. O sea, nunca decía, you know, no decía muchas tarugadas, güey. O sea, no decía cosas crazy. Like, he wouldn't go overboard and shit. But his shit was always clean, funny. And I was always like, man, my dad's really funny type of shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so then when I started doing videos with him, it was more like it was like hitting camera, bro. Because I knew
Love it.
I knew what to do to get a reaction out of him.
Right.
And I wanted to get a natural reaction. Because once you start like planning it and say this and I say that, you say not that way.
See, wait, it doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't hit the same.
Right.
So I wanted to get a natural reaction. So I started just hiding the camera from him. I started hiding the camera and I would do shit and, you know, like he would just trip. Like I think there was 1 or 2 that we did that was planned. And it was the one where like supposedly like cholos are like cutting us off.
Oh,
and he's like, pinche cholos, motherfucker, yeah. Like that one we planned it, but I never taught my dad like how to act, bro. He's just good. He's naturally funny, bro. You know,
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Apparently,
it doesn't, man. Shit. And I got that from pops, man. I got that from mom. I used to open up for Bash.
Oh fuck. Okay.
You know, I used to open up for him at shows. For MC Magic, these relationships mean everything to me, man. These guys have given me opportunities that other people haven't. A lot of it stems too when I used to work from EDub. Like I used to work with EDub. A lot of that stems from them as well. Like a lot of those introductions, like you know, the reintroduction from me at Bash was through EDub.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted me to start shooting music videos for them.
And that was a whole like Pocos Pero Locos clique. A lot of
exactly.
Latino rappers.
Exactly. So then Bash is a funny dude, and Bash comes from like Bash is really funny, dog. Like if you're around Bash, you know those dudes that he has a comedic touch to his shit, right? And you know, he kind of, I guess he might have seen a little bit of like Chingo Bling vibe in me. Like,
yeah, I remember
Bash has a really good, keen sense of talent. And I'm not saying it because because he worked. I'm just saying it because he just knows. Like he used to work with Miguel before Miguel blew up. Like he has a really good sense of like who got talent. Who's
got it and who don't.
Who has the intangible? Who has that it factor, right? So Bash always gave me the opportunity to do skits with him. And granted, he doesn't have to, bro. Like he does music. He's done well for himself. Like he has no reason to be doing skits with me, but he saw the funny in it. You know, he saw my potential and he decided to work with me on skits. And then same thing with Magic, and same thing with everything. Like DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia, he was one of the first ones to ever let me do a skit with him.
That's cool.
You know what I'm saying? That's DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia. Like he didn't have to do that, bro.
Nah, right.
You know, and in the skit, I kind of clown him. You know, I clown him not being a part of the group no more, type of shit. You know?
How do you do that, bro? Hay muchas personas que les sale muy bien y natural when they interview somebody and they're going to clown somebody who's kind of have like a high status or you know is very respectable and shit. How do you kind of get into join into the fun of how you are?
You know what? Like I think I always approach it in the sense of like, first of all, it's the utmost respect for these gentlemen.
Of course,
you know, like 3 6 Mafia, man. Like he knows how much I adore him and Bash, and I love these guys, man. Like I grew up on these guys. Like I'm like first and foremost, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's one of those things where I'm always like, look, bro. If I don't want to do a skit with you, it's because you're not a legend.
Right.
Like when it comes to doing skits with guys like that, with guys that are big in their own right in music or whatever, right? And it's always like, if you can't make fun of yourself, dog, then who is?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's when I kind of break them down. And after that, it's like once other artists or other people saw that these skits were successful, it was kind of like, yo, I want to do a skit with you, bro. Okay, cool, let's do it. You know?
Yeah, because I've seen the skits that you do with like you up the ante a little bit con los boxers. Hey, this is my gym, perro. Oh, yeah. That shit was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, dude. Who was the first? I think the first boxer to ever let me do a skit with him was Fernando Vargas.
Oh yeah, Fernando Vargas.
Yeah, so Fernando Vargas. I had actually worked for Fernando Vargas before the skits, but he didn't remember me. But I was like, yo, I used to shoot your reality show. I used to be a cameraman for his reality show.
Shit, that's crazy.
So I told him that I kind of, he's like, oh shit, what's up, man? How you doing? And you know, just through building the relationship, eventually we ended up doing the skits, which went fucking viral too, you know. So that was cool. But it all comes from a place of respect first and foremost. You know, I respect these dudes and what they've done and what they've created.
Right.
And to me, it's all about letting people know that these guys are human, man. Like they want to laugh too, you know, like, you know, they can make fun of themselves, you know? And I think that's what separates, you know, my comedy from other comedy. I just, you know, it comes from a good place. You know what I'm saying? Like
it really does. It's very genuine. It's really funny. You should have, I'm sure you've heard this before, but you should have your own show. You should be writing skits for, you know, we should just have your own show where you write skits for, you know, fuck a SNL, forget all that, you know, something for your own network for the gente, because I need, like right now the Latino dollar, bro, is like major, and we need to capitalize on that. I think, you know what I mean?
And I think dudes are, you know, I think, you know, again, man, like I think I feel like every dog has his day. You know, one day I'll give him an opportunity. You know, obviously George Lopez is coming out with his show again, Lopez versus Lopez.
Right.
It's him and his daughter. My boy, I'm pretty sure I can say he posted him out. So my boy Jerry Garcia, which is a very outstanding stand-up comedian. He's been doing amazing. He's been doing it for a long time. He got an opportunity to be a part of that show.
Right.
My boy Frankie Quinones, which is again, I'm a big fan of him. He's a big fan of mine, which is crazy.
I love that he's had that show on Hulu.
Exactly. So yeah, dude, right? So you know, so him and his boy got the show on Hulu called called This Fool, and you know, so I think it's happening.
It is.
You know, and those shows, we have to support those shows.
Yeah, it has a lot of our culture in it, and
it does.
Like for example, I know you're very cool with Fools Gone Wild. There's a lot of little Fools Gone Wild anecdotes in there. You know, like you gotta look at it closely, and the little things that one-liners that people get and stuff like that. And we have to support that comedy, man. You're totally right, because if we don't support each other, then who is?
Well, you know, exactly, and Hollywood and Hulu and Netflix and all these entities have to see that, okay, if we put money behind it, look how successful it is. There's a market for it. Definitely. If we're gonna sit here and hate and be like, oh, I don't think it's funny, dog. Fuck that. This fool.
I'm funnier than that fool.
I'm funnier. Then it's like, bro, we're not gonna grow, dog. We're not gonna. So we have to support these shows.
And I think it's happening. There's a lot of support amongst each other también, porque growing up Mexican, I know you've heard this before. It's el enemigo de un mexicano es otro mexicano, or whatever the case might be. You have a lot of people that you put into your skits. You're working together with Latinos, and that's fucking beautiful, bro. I love it. Congratulations on all your success thus far. Coming up though, what is your main goal or your main objective now that you've done these videos and stuff like that? You discovered it. What's the major end goal for Concrete?
I don't know, man. Like if you ask me, do I want to be one of the greatest comedic actors in the world? Yeah, I want to do that. Do I want to build a school where kids can learn how to film? I want to do that.
You're inspired a lot. What actor or people besides your family inspired you in the industry to kind of keep pushing and kind of take after?
That's funny. This morning, man, I did that. This morning I actually, they asked me, because I usually go live on my Instagram in the mornings. I do kind of, mean mugging with Concrete, where I, drink coffee in a mug and just kind of chill and talk to my people. But
that's cool.
So they asked me this morning, they were like, yo, man, what's your top 5 comedians of all time that have influenced you? And so my number one, I'll tell you right now, is Jim Carrey.
Hey, okay.
I grew up on Jim Carrey.
Favorite movie from Jim?
My favorite movie, Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber, okay. Cool.
Dumb and Dumber. But even before I saw Dumb and Dumber, I saw Once Bitten.
I've never seen that one.
You never seen Once Bitten? Okay, so you guys gotta go and watch Once Bitten. It's a vampire movie.
Okay, I gotta check it out.
So it's super random, but that was one of his first movies. Once Bitten was one, and I remember seeing that on K-Cow.
So this was before In Living Color?
This is, before In Living Color.
Oh shit, this is really early work then.
Yeah, this is like an 80s movie, maybe like late 80s, early 90s maybe.
I gotta peep that out, man.
And then it was In Living Color, and then in 94 came the greatest movie ever made that changed my life, was Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber.
So Jim Carrey's my number one dude. I've always been attracted to physical comedy.
Right. Okay.
Las muecas.
Out,
Yeah, like one thing that Jim Carrey taught me is that you don't have to say something funny to be funny. A certain look, una mueca, las caras, and people always say that about me. They're like, hey, dog, your faces, or las caras que haces, güey, or this or that. That to me means a lot, because that's something that I essentially learned from Jim Carrey without even Jim Carrey knowing.
That's hard to do, bro. That's just not easy.
Making someone laugh with just a certain walk or your wardrobe, or some people say, dog, your hair's funny as fuck. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Like
I tell my girls, I try to do a Robert De Niro, but no me sale, man.
Yeah. But that's it, bro. Like that to me, like Jim Carrey that's one of my godfathers type of shit,
Yeah.
The second one, it's between and I said it's between Jamie Foxx and Martin Lawrence.
Oh man, that's a tough. I would probably go Jamie Foxx and then Martin Lawrence.
Yeah. Well, you gotta think, but like, if you go back to the Martin show, Martin had a ton of characters, bro.
Yeah, he did, man.
You know what I'm saying? He had Shanae, he had the little kid, he had the the homie with the pimp and shit. I forget the names of it.
Oh, dude, no, he's on with the big teeth.
Yeah. Jerome.
Not only those characters, but like
big player from the Himalayas.
Yeah, man, that shit was good. He had Broman in there too. Like he didn't play that character, but the characters that he.
But that shit was hilarious to me, dude.
Yeah.
So
it was dope.
And then it's number 3. So one is Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx,
Martin Lawrence,
and Jamie Foxx. They got number 2.
Okay, they share it.
Number 3, I think I had. So number 3, I had Eugenio Derbez.
Yes, yeah. La Familia Peluche.
Yeah. Like, I remember seeing that, bro, and I was like, this shit is so funny, dog. That to me was like, and again, it goes back to all his characters. He could make you laugh with 6-7 different characters, bro. That to me is is genius, bro.
Yeah.
When you can become 5-6 different people and make me laugh, to me, that's a genius to me, bro. Like, that is amazing to me, right?
Like Chavo del Ocho también,
Yeah,
Chespirito.
bro. Yeah, like those guys are great. They're just before my time.
For sure.
I give them their Mount Rushmore, but that's them. Like, I put Tintan in there. I put Cantinflas in that.
Like
in that
Capulina and shit.
You know, Capulina. Like, I put those, like, those guys are on a different Mount Rushmore, right?
This is your era.
Yeah, Eugenio is my...
Yeah, for sure.
I grew up on Eugenio, right? So he's my number 3. My number 4, I have 2 guys.
Okay.
And my number 4, I have Bill Burr and I have George Lopez.
Bill Burr. I like Bill Burr.
I love Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Bill Burr, Bill Burr will tell you the realest shit in the funniest way. Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And the way he's very, he's very raw with his comedy.
Controversial at times or whatever.
Controversial at times.
Es al chile el vato, bro.
Es al chile, güey. So I love Bill Burr. George Lopez. It's George Lopez, dog. I mean, not because he's raza or not, but he's paved the way for a lot of Latino comedians. George Lopez to me was like, I remember seeing his stand up and I was like, yo, this shit is hilarious. It reminded me of like my house, my home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I really resonated with the shit that he said,
Yeah.
And obviously, like the George Lopez show was hilarious, bro. That did amazing. So I give him my number 4 in my top 5,
Yeah,
but he's gonna share it with Bill Burr.
a huge George Lopez fan, bro, and the share with Bill Burr is crazy, though. I mean, tanto que habla de los güeros and shit like that, it's kind of ironic. Pero me personally, like George Lopez, one of the big fans. I used to watch him when he was on Kid Locos. Remember on Channel 22 here in LA?
Yeah.
Like after 10 p.m. After 10 p.m., El Vato was, he would do his stand up and he would host it and whatnot. And it was cool, man. I used to enjoy that shit a lot. And then I would follow him a lot to like the radio stations and when we have like events and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool, man.
So George Lopez and Bill Burr in my 4, and then my 5.
Final one.
If I had a top 5, I mean, I still have so many more that I credit, myself. Like honorable mentions to me is obviously like the Adam Sandlers of the world.
Yeah.
I'm not privy to a lot of his stand-up, but just his comedic, his films, all that shit to me is just phenomenal. Obviously,
the list could probably go on and on, man. Say muchos, bro.
But my number 5 goes to the one and only Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle's amazing. I think everything he does is fucking dope.
To me, Dave Chappelle is like, I got to meet him when I was 12 years old. I was part of a screening that they showed Half Baked.
Oh, hey.
So, like I was coming out of the movies and like, hey man, do you want to see this movie next week? And I was like, what is it? They're like, it's just a movie. Come see it. It's free. I was like, all right, cool. I pull up and it's Half Baked. He comes out, meets the crowd and shit, shook everybody's hand and then went home. And I was like, cool, Dave Chappelle, dope ass movie. And then it was like the Dave Chappelle show came out and it was like I hadn't laughed that hard since like 94, dog, since Dumb and Dumber.
Dog, man, that type of comedy and stuff like that I don't think it's something you can do nowadays. There's a lot of different shit.
Well, that's what I'm trying to. I try to push the envelope with my stuff, and
I love it. You do it so good.
And I don't. A lot of people are like, man, how do you feel about being an influencer? I was like, man, I'm not an influencer. Like, I just do comedy on social media because I haven't just gotten a platform yet. I don't have
I don't even think you
Comedy Central. Like I don't have a Comedy Central. I don't have a Netflix calling my name yet. But I think I'm just doing me, man, and definitely these guys have paved the way for me and taught me a lot.
You take a little bit of every. See, one thing for me, like when it comes to like hosting and even comedy and stuff, like the person I like and I'm a big fan of is Conan O'Brien. Like I think the guy is fucking hilarious. He was a writer for The Simpsons.
I used to watch Conan a lot, man.
Me too. I preferred him over Jay Leno. I couldn't do Jay Leno.
Me too.
I couldn't do Jay Leno.
And they get, I think, just different, different times, man. I think I think Conan O'Brien was really big in those late 2000s, 2000, like mid 2000s to late 2000s. You know, I used to watch the shit out of Conan O'Brien. But yeah, man, those are my top 5. It's 7 really, but top 5.
Man, you've come a long way to meeting some of your idols, to meeting some of your influencers and stuff like that in your life. Congratulations on all your success thus far, Concrete.
Thank you,
real,
bro. Appreciate it.
Síguele echando ganas, güey. Ya menos se nos acaba el tiempo, pero antes de que nos vayamos, vamos a jugar un juego. We're going to play some faces, and we're going to test your Mexican knowledge real quick. Algo básico, nothing crazy, like from filling in the blank and answering questions, all right?
Okay.
What is menudo made from? Pork or beef?
Pork. It's lining. What do you mean? Isn't it pig lining?
No, it's stomach lining from the cow, from la vaca. It's beef stomach.
I just had some in the last night. For what?
But you probably had pozole, fool.
No, this whole time I'm thinking that it's pork lining. It's stomach lining.
No, I had to double check, but no, for sure it's beef. It's beef stomach.
Damn, my bad, perritos.
No hay pedo. Mira, you could. Ahorita,
damn, fool.
Various answers here. You got this one. Fill in the blank. Vete mucho a.
It depends on where you want to send them.
Whatever you want. That's great. That's one of the answers. I would have also accepted a la chingada and a chingar a tu madre. No offense. Sí. A ver, fill in the blank. Ponte.
Pilas.
O ponte verga was an acceptable answer. That's an acceptable answer también. Sana, sana.
Culita de rana.
There you go. Cinco de Mayo celebrates what?
It's not Mexican Independence Day. It's the Battle of Puebla.
Right, the Battle of Puebla against the French.
Pinches
franceses, güey.
Yeah, and which the Irish helped, I believe, as well, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
That's...
I think.
Yeah, you learn something new every day. That's true.
Well, I mean, because that's where we get banda from. We get banda from Europeans.
Yeah,
that's why
true.
We have the trombone and the tuba and the accordion, all that
Alemania.
Shit.
All that shit.
Yep, so we got that from Europeans.
And then this is the final one. You're going to have to finish the lyric.
Let's go.
I want to sing it, but I can't. So I'm just going to say it.
Cántala.
Pero recuerda.
Nadie es perfecto y tú lo verás.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's so funny, dude. Like the first time, what's funny is that because I was shooting music videos for Beatriz Solis, which is his daughter.
Yeah.
Right? So I did the skit. No. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story about Marco Antonio's, right? So I'm shooting I'm shooting her album cover.
Right.
And she was like, hey, my dad's gonna come. And I was like, what?
Oh, el pinche Wookie.
I was like, what? I was like, fuck. So like I made sure that I got extra waters and all kinds of shit, la chingada, you know? Y llega el Buki, güey. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I was like, oh, fuck, you're a legend, dog.
And all of his majesty.
It's like fucking Jesus walked in. It was like fucking Jesus walked in, bro. He's like, ¿qué onda, güey? I walked in. No, pues, ¿cómo estás? Don Solís. Don Solís.
El Don, for fuck yeah.
He's like, no. Adelante, trabajen. I was like, all right, fool. So I'm taking pictures and he's looking at the screen and he's like, muy bien, Cristian, muy bien. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's what's up, fool. And he's like, tienen hambre. And I was like, and now, I'm trying to be like, bien indita. No, gracias, no.
Muy indio tu boca.
No, yo vengo. No, hambre, no. A mí ni me da hambre.
Yo no como, güey. Comí la semana pasada.
Dice, no, Cristian, de veras, te quiero comprar algo comer. ¿Tienen hambre? Sí, pues tráete lo que sea, lo que sea. So he goes, he leaves, bro, and he comes back. And I don't know what they got at this point. I don't know what they...
Fuck it, whatever it's got, I'm sure it's good, right?
I don't know what they got, right? I'm just, whatever, right? So he keeps coming in, and I'm still thinking, Cristian, por favor, vente a comer. And you got El Buki telling you, stop working, come eat, bro.
Comer,
and I keep shooting.
This is your life right now.
I'm over here overworking. I was like, ahorita estoy bien. And I'm just gonna keep snapping pictures. He's like, and he comes back. He's like, Cristian, por favor, se ve enfriar la comida. And I was like, damn, this food's, he just told me the food's gonna get cold. I was like, this is fucking crazy, dog. And then so he comes back a third time. Cristian, no te lo digo otra vez. Por favor, vente a comer. And I was like, all right, ahí voy. Gracias. I go over there. This motherfucker got cold cut sandwiches from Subway. I was like, this shit ain't gonna get cold.
Se va a enfriar la comida, güey. Son pinches sandwiches, güey.
He got cold cut sandwiches.
Fucking tortas and shit.
I was like, but hey, he was a sweet man, dog.
That's awesome.
You know what's funny? I'll tell you another story. Well, when he was there, he's just watching, and I'm talking to him, and he keeps looking at his phone, dog. He's like this, and I was like, ¿qué onda? ¿Todo bien? He's oh, todo bien. Es que no han anunciado los números de la lotería.
Motherfucker, you don't need no money, fool.
And I'm like, what? I was like, ¿juegas lotería? Y dice, claro. ¿Acaso tú no juegas lotería? And I was like, no, señor Marcos, yo no, nah,
yo trabajo duro.
Yo lo voy a ganar. Dice, I was like, no, para que gane, no, I'm gonna have to get really lucky, you know? And he literally goes in his pocket, fool. He takes out at least like 30 fucking lottery tickets, bro. I guess he had bunch like And 30 is a low number, fool, because he was going like this. Like, he had like a stack, like it looked like a stack of money, but it was just lottery tickets. And he was seen at the time, I think it was like a 400 million or some shit, dog. And I was like, look at the ambition of this man, dog.
Shit.
To be so successful, right? To be so successful in the industry, bro. To you know, he's well off, bro. I don't think he needs. I don't think he's having money issues, you know.
Right.
But to still want to win the fucking lottery, dog. Shit. Think about that shit. That shit's crazy, dog. You know.
Yeah.
But he was a great dude. Shout out to Marco Antonio Solis. He saw this.
Beatriz too. She's the
Shout out to Beatriz. He saw the skits and he loved it. His management loved it. They thought it was hilarious. So once I got the blessing, it was like, I could darle.
You had one with Jay Valentino where you did Chivo. I think I've got one.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was the first one we did, man. That was the first one we did, man. And after that, it was a wrap, man. But yeah, man, shout out to Jay Valentino too, man. We've been doing a lot of skits together as well.
Pero qué chingón a ti, dog. Felicidades a todo tu éxito, fool, for real. One last game before we bounce
I was looking at that. I was like, what?
I got you, dog.
No son paletas, güey.
No son paletas, no. Quisiera que fueran paletas, pero no son. Just the first word that comes to mind when you see the face. ¿Sale?
First word that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vamos. Una.
Luchador. Mexicano.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio.
Este vato.
First word that comes to mind?
A ver. What is it?
Sex.
This man.
Weed. I just got to meet him like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, that's dope, man.
Weed.
Did you smoke with him?
No, I didn't.
No comment.
I didn't.
No comment, right?
No comment.
Oh, man, that's awesome, though, if you did. Hey, let's do this guy.
What's the first word that comes to it?
Right now, bro.
Perreo.
Intenso.
Intenso.
Hell yeah. Está difícil,
man. What's the first word that comes to it? Dude, it's so many that come to mind.
Then go for it, bro. Let it like a pinche matralleta. Just
I think misunderstood.
Misunderstood. That's a good one. I said the same thing to my girl. She thought I was crazy. Hey.
Legendary.
George Lopez.
Legendary.
Russell Wilson.
What's the first word that comes to mind?
Yeah.
Goodies.
Shout out Sierra and shit. But you don't know what to do with that. Hey.
Dynamic
duo right here, Kobe.
Dynamic,
Shaq.
yeah.
Concrete. Thank you once again.
Thank you, man.
Let's wrap it up.
Appreciate it.
This is episode number 4, Forever a Podcast, season number 2. Please come back and visit us again,
anytime,
bro. Please,
anytime, bro. And I'm sorry it took so long, man. I don't know.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
This is actually perfect. It worked out great. You're a great host. I'm a big fan, and
thank you. I appreciate it.
Can't wait to come out and see you at one of your shows or something.
Let's do it, bro. Let's do it.
We'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The homie J9 Concrete. We out of here, man. Peace.
Nos fuimos.
Las tufas.
I ain't got no time, baby. I ain't never had a silver spoon. Granny house on the couch in the living room. If you living what you rapping, and I'm feeling you.